Så beklager jeg er ikke god norsk, so you have to bear with me. I'm speaking in English. So straight to the topic, we don't have too much time left. First to present the possibilities or our solution. If you think about a leak, the first picture which comes to mind is a bubble train or a train of oil drops climbing up to the surface. The interesting thing is that natural gas and crude oil have a very high content of methane inside. And this methane dissolves very fast into the water and is transported very fast far away. Like, as an example, there is a paper being published by Jim Garib from Fugro, and they could track a plume of gas coming from a seep far to 84 kilometers away from the source. So it means it's a very powerful way to detect a leak. Now, interesting enough is that in many cases, there are no bubbles. Simply, they dissolve very fast, like you can see on those pictures, within a couple of centimeters, sometimes even right at the crack, there are no bubbles. And sometimes, some cases like heavy oil, it just creeps down to the ground, and you don't see it climbing up at the surface. So it means the only way to see a leak is to be able to detect the gas plume which is released by that, right? Just to give you an example, we discussed with the team working on Thunder Horse in the Gulf of Mexico. This is a huge field, high pressure. And they explained to us that even a large loss of gas, I mean, relatively to what you would consider a leak, I mean, a huge loss of gas, they wouldn't be able to detect it on the mass balance, for instance. So they may have a huge leak, a huge loss of gas, and they wouldn't see it. With no technology would give that, unless they could measure the gas plume. And this is where we come into the picture with sniffers. You can use them on spot where you would assume there will be a leak, like a valve, for instance. So it can be a local detection. If you use a network of sensors positioned at strategic spots, you can have area coverage. They are measuring freely in the water, no shadowing, for instance, right? Yet they are capable of identifying the leakage point. They have a very high sensitivity. Just the point when we started to present our technology some years ago, people were afraid. They would say, "Oh, we will see everything." That's exactly the point. If you don't see anything, how can you judge about the measure? How can you decide what to do, right? So it's better to be very sensitive so that you know what's going on. And it's very highly selective, no false positive. If we have a signal, it's because there is something. And if there is nothing, then we don't have any signal. It's very simple. So basically, sniffers are able to detect very early. They are able to localize, to follow up the evolution of a leak. That goes for brownfield, greenfield alike. And they are able to give you a baseline studies as well. So limitations. There are right now, for the moment, no direct identification between shallow gas and reservoir gas. It's methane. But the technology itself is able to give that. This is on our technology roadmap. We know how to do it. So in the near future, you will be able to say even which kind of gas release do you have and where it comes from. What we have done in the last years, we have this fixed system for permanent installation that has been qualified by Statoil, and that has been qualified for 25 years continuous operation, fouling free, no connection to cathodic protection system, so very nice for retrofit, very low power, and a very simple data structure, which allows retrofit on very old systems. We could even use 4 to 20 milliamp if we wanted. A version of that has been qualified by Chevron and Total for mobile applications. with a very fast response, like T90 time 10 seconds. And that has been used on ROVs, AUVs, and right now we are integrating them on gliders as well. Which elements are included in the solution? Well, we have a sniffer with a jumper cable. Then you have a mounting funnel that could be placed wherever. And the connection is typically to the subsea control module, flow control module. And you can put the sniffer wherever you want according to the settings on site, so very flexible. What does it give you topside? You can have simply the raw data. We can provide localization and triangulation software as well, and even fancy visualization. The last picture, and this we did in cooperation, that was done in cooperation with a small company located here in Stavanger, actually Stinger. So every stage is possible. Experiences. There are some companies having experience and working with our centers actually. So it's already established worldwide. And a couple of examples where it has been used. We are on a permanent system on a big platform on the Norwegian coastal continental shelf. And this is in operation since more than 2 years and part of the safety system. And regarding oil detection, there is we had a job in Trinidad on a condensate export line, and we used that on a small ROV. That's a picture of what we saw on the ROV camera, and below it, it's the signal we got on the condensate leak itself. Actually, that was it.